welcome to another episode of Tiny Nest. I'm Kiva.
And I'm Jake. This series is following our tiny house project from the early stages through to completion and beyond.
We have a lot of footage showing the whole process of siding the house, so we've broken it down into a couple episodes. This episode shows how we prepared for the siding.
And we also wanted to take a sec to show you what we used for siding, which is this 1x6 tongue and groove pine, which we treated with an exterior grade custom colored stain. A great tip that we came across in our research to help prepare for siding is to make a story pole, which is basically just a piece of wood that you hold up against the house and make marks for all the bottom and top edges of any trimmed sections. And you end up with all the marks for all of those edges by just going around the house and holding the piece up at the same height. And in our case, we just referenced the bottom of the sheathing. We held the bottom of the piece of wood up at that height all the way around. Then you make another piece with marks that represent the spacing between the seams of your siding. So here's an example of our siding, and you can see that the marks are spaced 5 inches apart, which is from seam to seam. So once you've got the two pieces all marked up, start by just holding them up to each other and seeing if any of your future siding seams are going to be in an undesirable proximity to one of the trim edges. And then if something doesn't look good, you just shift it around and check them all again and basically split the difference of everything until it's as good as it can be. And then this will help you figure out how big of a piece you need to start with in order to end up with all your seams landing where you've decided is best. The idea with this is to avoid having a seam land way too close to the edge of some trim. For example, here, if say it landed like a 1/2 inch down from the edge here, I'd have either the tongue showing and or a big gap here, and the only way to fill that would be having a tiny little sliver of the groove, which is hollow. So I'd have this really flimsy piece, either on its own, have to slide it in sideways, or if it was part of the rest of a piece, it would be super flimsy and might snap off, and it would just be not an easy thing to deal with.
Here in BC, we don't get too much of a winter, but we do get a lot of rain and dampness. So to protect against any water damage, we decided to install these rain screen strips underneath our siding. Most rain screen is made up of strips of pressure treated wood, but while researching our options online, we came across a product that's made out of corrugated plastic, which allows air to flow horizontally through it, which obviously the wood wouldn't allow. When we first tried to order this product, nobody seemed to know what we were talking about, but with a little digging, we found that it was easy to get through our local supplier. This product was in the system as 3/8 thick, 1.5 inch wide, plastic ventilated furring strips that were 8 foot 8 inches long.
We made sure to install the bug screen over top of where there's studs in behind, and just measured off the windows to make sure that we're staying on track. And it's to ensure that when we're nailing through this to affix the siding, that we're biting into more than just the sheathing. We've installed this bug screen, this fine mesh, to block off the cavity that's going to be produced by the siding being stood off by the rain screen. And we did it on the bottom here the same way that we did along the top when we were getting ready to put the roofing on. And you can see details of that in that video. But basically you can see that we just tucked it up underneath the rain screen and folded it over. And that way when we put siding up against it, there'll be a complete barrier from bugs being able to enter the cavity from below, and as well what we've already got on top.
So what we're doing to continue the progress of us being able to put the siding up on the house is we take our pieces of already stained siding, do a test fit and cut them to size, and then what we do is bring them back into the garage, sand and stain the parts that we cut, leave them overnight so we can put them up the next day, and then do the process again. If you want to see some of our previous videos, click on the preview tiles, and subscribe if you want to follow our progress. You can also visit our website here.